In this video, we're talking about a game changer for busy entrepreneurs, which is how to master the art of delegation and cut your work week in half. If you are feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, tired, and like you're drowning, this video is for you. So let's get into it. So let's start with the basics of why delegation is essential. Delegation is not just about dumping and handing off tasks to somebody else. Why it's really so important is that it's really about freeing up time for high value tasks. Because here's what people get wrong. They treat everything in their business equally. And as a busy entrepreneur, I'm telling you straight up that is one of the fastest ways to get stuck. It is going to keep you stuck with clients you don't want to work with. It is going to keep you stuck doing things you don't want to do. And it is going to keep you stuck at an income level that you don't want to be at. Not all tasks are created equally. So stop treating everything the same. Stop giving an equal amount of time to all the tasks that are required to run your business. And here's the thing, a lot of the times we don't consciously do this. You might be somebody who's a solopreneur. You might have a small team where there are just so many things to do. There are so many hats to wear. So you have to give a lot of time to things that you know you don't necessarily want to give a lot of time to. But here's the thing, as somebody who is an owner, as somebody who is an entrepreneur, as somebody who is charting their own path and doing things differently, your job is to grow and to lead, not to do everything yourself. So it gets to a point where you have to start doing things differently and you have to start thinking differently about how your business operates. So delegation is essential if you want your business to achieve higher revenue. If you want to work less in your business, it gets to a tipping point where you have to prioritize delegation. And people think about delegation in a very traditional sense. They think about having an employee that they hand off tasks to, but I encourage you to think about it outside of the box. You can bring people into your business like students, other interns who might not be full-time, who are part-time, who you are paying a lower rate to because they aren't experienced, or maybe you're not paying them at all, and this is actually part of some sort of study program. I know that there are actually also a lot of government incentives to hiring students where the government will actually support you as a business owner in subsidizing the costs for bringing young people into your business. So that's a non-traditional way that you can have somebody in your business and delegate to them while still considering the fact that you're a small business and might not have the biggest budget. The other thing is you can also delegate out to a tool. You can entrust not necessarily another person, but a tool to do the work for you. And in this day and age, there are so many SaaS or software as a service tools that we're all already utilizing, and there are so many more that are out there that can really help our business. So for example, you're probably already using a couple of tools when it comes to managing the relationship with your clients or helping you with social media or processing payment. A lot of the times we use tools just in ways that help our business, maintain basic operations, literally help us service our clients, help us execute on what it is that we do. But we're not using them in a more advanced way where we're actually delegating out to them and leveraging them in a way that's much lower cost than bringing a person into our business. So let's address some of the typical mental blocks around delegation. And honestly, guys, no judgment. Some of these I'm speaking about from my own experience. So the first one is this idea that nobody can do it as well as I can. This is a perspective that I have had in the past and something that I had to get over. And honestly, guys, it only comes from an inflated sense of ego. Of course, there are people out there who can do these things that are not even your zone of genius, not even your area of expertise, better than you can. And a key part of delegation is finding the right people, finding those people who can do it better than you can. And the people who tend to really latch onto this and struggle with this the most are people who have no processes in their business. And it kind of becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy where they're almost setting people up for failure, where they don't have any processes, they don't have any structure. And then once they do delegate some tasks out to somebody, they find the person might not be able to do it in the way that they've always done it because they haven't really given them the tools for success. And here's the thing, if you're thinking about delegation, then you are somebody who is stepping into your CEO energy and wanting to become a better leader. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to lead, because leading isn't just about saying we're going that way, right? Leading is about giving everybody the tools in order to make it to that final destination as well. Another limiting belief is this idea that it's too expensive. Again, this is something that I have said to myself. This might be why you haven't yet pulled the trigger on delegation. But eventually there is a tipping point, guys. There's a tipping point where you become the bottleneck in your business. You're the reason why you can't make more money because you don't have anything else to give. You don't have any more resources. You don't have any more time. You don't have any more energy. You're the one holding yourself back from growth. So yes, delegation can absolutely be an expense, especially if you're bringing somebody into your business. It can be a big expense, but you have to think about what you are gaining. And what you are gaining is the time required to take your business to the next level. And what you're also gaining is the opportunities that you've potentially lost out on all these years because you just did not have the time to really tap into these opportunities. And another limiting belief around delegation and a mindset shift that has to change is this idea that I don't have time to train anyone. Here's the thing, training someone for a couple hours up front saves you dozens of hours over the long term. So it's a trade-off. And the other thing that I want to state is what I kind of tapped into earlier is this idea of not having processes, not having systems, not having structure. If you already have processes in your business and those processes are formally documented through SOPs or standard operating procedures, then you are prepared to actually bring somebody into your business. But if you don't have those things, then honestly, you're not even prepared for scale. You're not even prepared to make more money in your business. So please do not sit there and think that you're ready for growth and you just need the right opportunity in order to take your business to the next level when you have not done the foundational operational work in order to get you there. So let's go over a couple of steps on how you can properly set yourself up to delegate and cut your work week in half. So the first step is knowing what you should be doing and what tasks should be delegated, and have a free downloadable down below in the description box that will clearly outline this for you, right? It will identify what are those areas that you should be focused on as the boss, as the CEO, as the primary service provider, versus what are the things that somebody else can come into your business and do. And it might be different from what you're initially thinking, so I really encourage you to get that down below in the description box. It's completely free. Work through it. That's a really great first step for you. Another essential task that cannot be avoided before delegation is to focus on creating standard operating procedures and really creating processes in your business. So I remember working with a client one-on-one before, and he told me something that always stuck with me, which is he said, I don't have any processes. And I replied, you do, they just live in your head, right? And that's a huge issue that people who struggle with delegation face, or effectively delegating to other people face, is the fact that they have these ways of working, but they don't have anything documented. And it relates back to what I said earlier about that self-fulfilling prophecy and setting people up for failure, because how are they supposed to know how to come in and do something, right? You're asking them to do things inefficiently. You're asking them to come in and figure things out from scratch when ways of working already exist. And I just don't think that makes sense. And I just don't think that's fair for you to then look at that person as not achieving, success within their role or not achieving good outcomes within your business when you haven't set them up for success. So once you've clearly identified what it is that you should be focused on versus what should be delegated out. And once you've actually created structure around those tasks that should be handed off, it's time to think about choosing the right person or tool. You might find that a lot of the tasks you need handed off don't actually intersect with each other, so you might need somebody who's a generalist and kind of can do everything. Or you might find that a lot of them are very specific. Let's say a lot of them are around bookkeeping and invoicing, so you might need somebody with a finance background. Or you might find that some of the things that you need done are something that a tool can actually bridge the gap on. So maybe you actually just need the time within your business in order to set up some of these tools for success. So this could be around creating automations in a tool that allows you to follow up with potential clients, or send out contracts and all of the initial documents that are required before onboarding. That's not something that a person necessarily has to do. It's something that a tool could actually do for you. So find what works for you based on the requirements that you have in terms of what tasks need to be done and also the budget that you have. And another critical step if you're bringing somebody into your business is to give feedback and let go. Here's the thing, I talked earlier about how it can be unfair, some of the expectations that we have for folks that we're bringing to our business. In fact, I have a whole video about this that I will pin for you guys up above and also down below in the description box. But really, in order to set somebody up for success, yes, the processes, having the formalized SOPs are critical, but it's about being comfortable being a leader and giving feedback as well. That's part of helping people grow. And that's also part of how you're gonna get your money's worth and feel like the service that you're getting is valuable. Once you are able to delegate to the right person or tool tasks within your business, it is going to free up so much time for you to do the strategic work in your business, which I would argue is where you should be focused as a CEO. And if you are a solopreneur or if you are a small team, this is how you set yourself up for scalability and being able to make more money within your business, which is not by doing everything yourself, but really focusing on, delivering a high quality service and doing the strategic work. So drop a comment down below on what tasks you are thinking about delegating, what it is that's keeping you buried. And if you got some value from this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe down below. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.